Jules, I was hoping not to talk about Real Madrid's game against Valencia because, Valencia are going to stay up. They're probably going to stay up anyway. Instead, we have to because this has developed into an enormous story. Horrendous situation involving Vinicius Jr. I'll try to recap as quick as I can, leaving aside other things. Valencia winning 1-0. Towards the end of the game, Vinicius Jr. at one point turns into the crowd, points at somebody. Somebody was racially abusing him. We know that stewards, law enforcement, police, whatever they were, stepped in. There's reports in Spain that 2 people were detained. Yeah. This went on for a long while. There were chants later. The referee suspended the game in accordance with the UEFA protocol, it seems. Spoke to Ancelotti. Ancelotti spoke to Vinicius. Ancelotti later said he wanted to take Vinicius off. Vinicius stayed on the pitch. Later, there were chants. Ancelotti came out after the game and said that the whole stadium was chanting "Mono, Mono," which means monkey, monkey, obviously racist chant. Valencia pushed back, saying that's not what they were chanting in terms of entire stands. Yeah. It's a complicated story, but the upshot, and I want to bring in Alex Kirkland, who joins us on this, is that Vinicius came out afterwards on social media and, really, really took a very, very hard line, saying this was the Liga of Cristiano and Messi. Now it's a Liga of racism. Tebas responded to it saying, no, it's not, and you didn't, kind of tone deaf there. You didn't come and see us when we gave the opportunity to come and talk about this, try to fix the problem. And Vinicius had harsh words to say about that. In other words, it's an ugly situation. We're going to try to establish the facts. Alex, my first question to you was the protocol that, well, first of all, what information do we actually have in terms of kind of the collective mass chanting? Do we have any hard information? Is it possible that Ancelotti got it wrong and that Valencia were correct?
It's difficult. From all of the video clips that I've seen, and I've seen several, it appears in those clips, at least to me, that most of the crowds are chanting the words tonto, stupid. Which means stupid in Spanish. But you can also hear some fans also using the word mono. Ancelotti, as you say, came out straight after the game and was very, very clear. He was saying the entire stadium was racially abusing Vinicius, and he'd never heard anything like it. And institutionally, as you mentioned, Valencia then responded and saying that was not the case. It's difficult because that all adds an element of confusion to the situation, which isn't particularly helpful, because certainly what happened initially in terms of Vinicius being racially abused by 1 or 2 individuals seems to be pretty crystal clear. And then the debate about how much of the stadium was doing it is maybe a little bit secondary, and it's difficult to establish. But like I say, in the video clips that I've seen, you can hear both of those words being used.
Alex, I'm right thinking that La Liga have spotters, have observers in the stands whose job is to document these instances when it happens. And I'm assuming that, if you're a normally sentient person, you can tell if people around you what they're actually chanting. So should we be hopeful that they will come to some resolution about whether it was actually a whole bunch of fans singing this or whether it was simply the isolated incident?
Yes, you're right. This is one of the steps that La Liga have taken in response to criticism, mostly from Vinicius Jr. over the last season or two, that they haven't been doing enough to deal with the issue of racism. One of the steps that La Liga took was bringing in these observers, these spotters, as you call them, in the grounds, who can help provide evidence. Because what La Liga have been doing, and what La Liga say that they can do in these situations, is gather evidence both from TV images, from cameras, from microphones, from these observers in the stands, gather this evidence and pass it on to local prosecutors who can then look at prosecuting a hate crime. That's the route that La Liga have taken in terms of dealing with this. And they've done that, I think it's a total of 9 times previously over the last 2 seasons. Now, Vinicius, part of his frustration, of course, is that he feels like this isn't enough and that they should be doing more.
I want to jump in on this because sadly we have a lot of experience with this in Italy. There's 2 different things. There's one is the league or the police prosecuting hate crimes and so on via criminal process. There's also another one, which is simply clubs banning supporters who do this. Are the clubs? Do the clubs have a legal right to do this? La Liga, I assume, have a legal right to issue their own banning orders or to ask clubs to ban fans. Do they have that right?
This is what the discussion is here now in Spain, and this is what some, such as the federation, are saying that should be happening. Well, listen, La Liga is an association that represents its member clubs. And so if they collectively decide that to institute these punishments, they could do so. They have chosen to take the legal route because they presumably feel it's the most effective way to deal with this. But Vinicius absolutely doesn't accept that is the case. He wants to see the league and the clubs take action directly.
It's a complex issue. We're going to dive into this more on the Gab and Jules podcast. And Alex will be with us.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN Plus.